Hello, and welcome to another episode of Thrive Like a Parent podcast. I really feel it's important to talk about burnout and kind of revisit the idea of burnout, especially during the holiday season. And if you are feeling it, it's okay because we are going to deep dive into all of that today of what that looks like and how to support that and how to make sure that you have the best possible holidays with the notion that you can't always stop all the things from happening. You can't always say no, or you can't always just say, F it, I'm not doing it this year, right? I was reading an article recently, and it was talking about how this particular article was saying, my husband does not share the same sense of urgency around the holidays as I do. Sometimes I truly think that he believes that Santa exists and that the house is surprisingly and cozily decorated just right, and the gifts magically appear under the tree with just the perfect shimmery bow. Oh, and the holiday cards? That's Santa too, because how else did they arrive on time? Don't forget the matching pajamas. It's a Christmas miracle that he had a set ready for him in his perfect size. I want to say nobody, Elf. Santa doesn't exist. It's just that moms are often the ones to make sure it all gets done. Now, this article goes on to talk about how there was a research study in 2006 by American Psychological Association stating that holiday stress has a particular impact on women. And gotta tell you, I have a really hard time just simply talking about moms and the impact that burnout places on us. Are all the things that I just word vomited to you about the presents and the decorating and the perfect meals and the matching pajamas and the cards, like, does a lot of that fall on the female if you are in a heteronormative partnership? Yeah, I've been in a relationship where it did. And I celebrate Hanukkah, but I did still feel it, right? However, I do think we need to, as we're having this conversation, touch on how we can gain support for ourselves as individuals, gain support within our partnership, and support your partnership along the way. Now, I wouldn't be doing you any good if I didn't back up a little in terms of why I feel that right around this time of year, we really start feeling the burnout. Because if I'm being honest with you, I was feeling it. And I took steps in order to support myself, and I'm definitely back on track and actually moving into the holiday season feeling really darn good. But you have to think that it's kind of like the race starts in August or early September, whenever your kids start school. And the activities start, the extracurriculars start, the birthday parties start, the double dates or the trying to get away for a date night with your spouse starts. Like, there is so much from August, September, and October. And it doesn't stop because at the end of October comes Halloween. And that's just a blatant shit show because we fill our children with so much damn sugar, right? And they're so hyped and they're so excited. And then we have this thing that happens from Halloween until mid-January where it's like a circus. It's either we're back at school or there's a 1 or 2 days off or there's a holiday party, or don't forget all the different days before the holidays break where they need to dress up as certain things at school, or you're bouncing back and forth from family and friends for Thanksgiving, and it just keeps ramping up, right? But the problem is that we never recognize that. Most just keep going and don't recognize, oh wow, like this is a lot. I've been going and doing and moving and non-stopping for a lot. And so when we have no awareness that we've been going, there's no pull back to support your nervous system and take care of your nervous system. You just keep going. And what happens is when you rev your engine, right? If you step on the gas and heighten that state into, fight or flight-ish, then your brain is functioning at a capacity that it may not be used to, or that it's functioning there because you've taught it to stay there, or it's trying to keep up. But if that's not your norm, to just be burning the candle at both ends, which for most parents it is the norm, which is a whole issue in itself. And kind of my mission of my work is to help you not be burning the candle at both ends. If you are, let's say it's like a fire at both ends rather than just like a little flicker. How about that, right? You are not going to enjoy the holiday season. You are going to even feel more depressed, right? You are going to feel more anxious and all the different things. While I want you and your family to feel loved and taken care of throughout the holiday season, I also want you to enjoy yourself. And trying to find that balance for you within that season takes some effort in terms of figuring out what you need and what will work for you. Now, usually what ends up happening is we satiate these burnout symptoms or overfunctioning symptoms with overeating or drinking a ton of alcohol, or I don't know, buying a bunch of shit that may try to make you feel better, right? Or just ignoring all of the exhaustion signs within your body. And often I talk to clients who I ask them how, Thanksgiving was, and we kind of deep dive into it and I ask all the questions, and they don't even remember what the food tastes like because they were eating so damn fast because they were dysregulated. And those are new clients, right? My older clients, they have such awesome awareness that Thanksgiving is super cool to come back from and hear how awesome of an experience it was this year versus all the other years. It's so cool. But it literally gets to the point where you don't even taste your food. Like you're just like, okay, what's next? Like, oop, like that's next. Like you're in such a heightened state. You're almost like vibing. You're like buzzing in your body that you literally don't taste the food. Now, what ends up happening when you are stuffing the envelopes for the Christmas cards or the holiday cards, and you're trying to make sure that all the presents are beautifully wrapped and the house looks perfect, and you've done all the invites for the party, or you're picking out all the outfits for the parties you're going to, and then let's say you go to one of those parties and your partner gets sloshed, and then you're pissed off because you have so much to do the next day, but they're sleeping it off in the bed, or you're worried about them and you got to drive home, or you guys got to get home some way. Like, I want to discuss the partnership aspect of burnout, because let's go there for a second. Okay. Let's do the heteronormative relationship where, like this article, the mom is, complaining and saying that we do more and that we make this magical thing happen every year. And the male just gets to show up to the party basically and enjoy all the things. Okay. When that happens, there is such resentment and anger that forms within the partnership that there is no way that you're going to enjoy the holiday and feel like you're a connected, united team. And to be honest with you, you see all this ta fa la 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 la, and all these like Christmas love story movies on Hallmark Channel and all this, like you want to sleep in separate bedrooms. You're like, it'd be better if you weren't even here. That is not where I want you to be at all. That's not a healthy place for your relationship to be. And that's totally not enjoyable for you. Right. And so what I'm first and foremost going to urge you to do this holiday season is sit down and have an intentional conversation with your partner. Maybe even write a list of all the things that you feel need to get done, right? And let's discuss how we can divvy up that list. Now, if your partner gets that list done and you don't like the way that partner does it, tough tough shit, right? Like they did it. So like be so grateful they did it. It was one thing off of your list. I know that's very hard to release, but it is so helpful if you can just say, great, it's done. Check off the list, right? And that way you guys can have a united front and support each other through the holiday chaos and share, hey, I'm really struggling. I need some help. Or, hey, I feel like this is a lot. What do you think you could help out with this year? I have a whole list, right? That way you're having an intentional conversation. I have my clients have these intentional conversations before they go on any trip, any vacation, before they do anything with their in-laws or parents or anything like that. The more intentional conversations you can have with your partnership, the more connected and aligned and co-regulated the two of you will be. So instead of resentment this year, I want you to focus on connection. Share your feelings with your partner. Share how overwhelmed you feel. Share what you need help with. The next thing I want you to do is actually look at that list and see if there's anything on the list you can take off. See if there's anything that you can say no to. See if there's anything that you have said yes to that you actually really don't want to do, but you feel like you have to do it or you need to do it. And take it off the list. Because I'm going to remind you, the holiday season really, truly at its core meant slowing down, resting, rebooting. You know, in the time of winter months, I'm sure you already know this, but oftentimes our diet changes a little bit. We even sometimes pack on a few more pounds because we are animals. Like we're human. We're trying to protect ourselves from the cold and all of the elements around us in the world, in the earth, right? And so slowing down and hibernating through the winter is really what our bodies were meant to do, not ramp up and go to 15 different holiday parties with all the sparkly, glittery dresses and, I don't know, skirts and drinking until we can barely think straight and then, you know, feeling like crap the next day. It is okay to say no. I want you to think about what loosening the holiday grip on all the to-do lists would feel like, right? Like maybe you don't have the matching pajamas. Maybe you don't have the perfect souffle. Lord knows I have no idea how to make a souffle and I'm not going to try. But being able to release some of that, I want you to focus in on what matters most, which is taking the time to make holiday memories with your loved ones. Maybe sharing a really awesome meal together. I don't care if it's frozen or not, right? But really, truly, some of the best holiday memories happen when you're sitting around the table not doing much. And I want you to really lean into that this year of asking yourself, how has this year gone so far? For me, it's been a freaking whirlwind. I literally cannot believe we're in November. Like, I can't. I also find that as I get older, the years go faster and faster, which is like so depressing because I don't want them to go faster. I want to hold on to every moment and enjoy my life and this journey and enjoy this time with my kids. And I think that we really need to embrace how we're feeling based on how the rest of the year has gone. So if you've had a particularly hard year, lean into asking for help, lean into supporting yourself, lean into taking some time for you, right? Really lean into what do you want this holiday season to feel like? I know you think you may need the holiday picture with, I don't know, sitting on Santa's lap. Like, I never grew up with that. So, like, to me, it doesn't make a difference. But you will have a picture of your children. Like, take it by the tree. Like, don't wait in line. Like, don't do the thing. Like, but take some time to figure out how you want this to feel, right? If you're like, like, this doesn't, I'm feeling great. Like, let's go. Like, do it. Totally do it. But this is your simple reminder to take the rest of the year and support your brain and body into that energy for January, because it's like stepping on the gas all over again with moving into spring, eventually sports and all the different things, Really listen into what your brain and body needs. This is the time to give it to your brain and body when you maybe don't have as much work on your plate, when you are taking time off from work, maybe when you have the kids home more, right? The best thing you can do is take care of you during the holiday season. Now, if you've been living in a heightened state, and I've talked about this a lot, but I'm going to say it again as a reminder, if you've been living in a heightened state, it's not going to happen overnight to where you just wake up one morning and you're like, I'm regulated, woohoo. If you've been working constantly, now, you know what? We're going to do it. Now we're going to talk about the patriarchal view of society. Let's talk about the dads. And I'm not saying that moms don't work. Hello, I'm a clearly working mom. But dads, if you are the patriarchal breadwinner and you are effing exhausted from working all year, you're not going to like this, but I love you. You're the dad who comes home and has a really hard time being present. You snap at your kids because, frankly, it's easier to be at work than it is to be at home. You don't understand why they're whining. The bickering is driving your eardrums crazy. You're zoning out on your phone. You're sitting on the toilet for 30 minutes at a time, zoning out on your phone like you're trying to get away. And again, it's easier to literally deep down, you're like, this is easier to be at work than at home. If you're having a hard time being present at home, that doesn't mean that if you get some time off of work, it's going to magically appear over the holiday season. You're going to have to work for it. And if you're a working mom, like this really applies to everyone, but I am, again, doing the patriarchal view for a moment. It is going to feel uncomfortable when you put your phone down and attempt to be present. It is, let's say you booked a cabin in the woods and you're stuck with, your family and kids for, I don't know, a week over the holiday season or New Year's. And it's like, oh boy, this is going to test my patience. Like, to be honest with you, I'm ready to get back to work. It is okay if it feels uncomfortable. It's okay. But what that tells me is that your brain is 1000% on overload. When I work with clients, I like to take them from like the high highs and the low lows to like rolling hills so that it's not as extreme of like avoiding, right, the sensory stimuli because it's just too much. If you're already dysregulated, all the noise and the sound and all the things at home are going to drive you up the wall. But if you can support yourself and take care of yourself, request what you need to come down off that curve, your time with your children will be a lot better. I don't really know what else to say, but better. Because it is about being present with your kids. It's not about how much we've all made this year. Yes, do we all have to keep the lights on? 1000%. But you will blink and they will be in college or out of the house. And oftentimes those parents who pound the pavement, pound and pound and pound and pound and pound and pound, they really struggle when the pounding is over because they don't know what to do with themselves. I actually have a friend right now. Her dad is, I don't know, maybe in his late 60s, maybe early 70s. And he's not doing well. He, by all means and all accounts, was a very, very successful businessman, like very, very successful. But now that he is slowing down and retiring, he doesn't know what to do with himself because his brain has never just sat with that for a while and gotten comfortable with that for a while. I have another friend who is our age and his workload is not as strenuous right now. And he is feeling down and lonely and craving more. But that's not because his life is unfulfilling. It's because his brain is used to over functioning. And so the advice I gave him is sit in the discomfort of that because it's going to take your brain some time to come down. But the true key is to never going up, 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 up to the point of no return. And that is what you can avoid this holiday season, which is complete and utter burnout by over-functioning, doing more. So when I said, let me take you back, I literally, and I've said this a few times today, like I literally want you to look at how the year has gone, maybe how summer into fall has gone. Take recognition of maybe why your body and brain is where it's at today, and how can you move forward with supporting that. Now, the last piece I want to talk to you about is resolutions. I'm pulling up my sleeves for this one. New Year's resolutions, they're like a sweaty, beefy dude that's just come out of the gym. After a while, if you don't take a shower, you're gonna smell. Like, it's just not something I want you to engage in. Why? Because it's revving your brain up for instantaneous, okay, I'm going to get back on the wagon. You're adding more to your plate. If you weren't able to keep up with those things already, that means you got enough on your plate. And holding yourself to a standard of, I will do this, and then if you don't follow through on it, the disappointment of that is just gonna knock you down even more. So just don't do it. Like, legit. Just don't do it. Don't be a sweaty, beefy, smelly dude at the gym. Like, just don't do it. Like, ugh. Because I guarantee you're already doing enough. So put the garland down. Slow your roll on the extra sides of mashed potatoes and, I don't know, the extra dish you think you need to make this year. Stop over functioning and doing so much for so many when you really don't feel like doing it, but you think you need to do it. Start supporting yourself this holiday season and enjoy the time with your family and the ones you love most. And most importantly, rest. Rest. Rest, please. And until next time, XOXO, Dr. B.